Now, with users from all demographics and age groups, TikTok has emerged as a global social media phenomenon. More people continue to use the app despite concerns in the United States about the safety of the app and its users. Users of social media and TikTok users in particular should be aware of how to safeguard their privacy settings and personal information, as well as to be careful about the content they share. Let's bring in cybercrime investigator Sharon Knowles for more on the topic. Sharon, thanks for your time. The settings and privacy around TikTok specifically very much in international headlines of late, with it almost becoming an issue around geopolitics, with the United States asking some very serious questions just about the inner workings of an app like TikTok. But for somebody like you in this business, this is nothing new, is it?
Definitely not. I think with the social media platforms that we have and that people are using today, a lot of people don't really look at what their cybersecurity, well, what their settings are on social media, and they tend to forget what they share. So we see a lot of breaches where people have had their profiles stolen and that they've been phished, and information has actually been stolen from them, leading to identity theft.
Now, I've spoken to people in your industry for some time, and I've learned that so many of you, because you know about just how much information can be accessed through your social media platform, so many people in your business are just not on social media at all. No Facebook platform, no nothing. But your approach seems to be that there are ways that you can protect themselves. What are your first 3 rules for those who are on social media, or more importantly, especially with a platform like TikTok, your children are on social media? What should they really ensure that they do before they allow any information onto these platforms?
I think as a parent, it's very important to check the settings on the app itself and make sure that the correct settings are for the child's age group. Children below the age of 13 shouldn't really be on social media. And if they are, we ask the question, did you create their profile for them, and what birth date did you use? Oh. And then to ensure that passwords are, I know everybody gets frustrated with a very long password, but use 13 characters or more, and you can use a phrase without using anything personal like the dog's name or the children's name. Use a strong password. That is very, very important. And then talk to your children, talk to your teenagers about the content that they share, because an app like TikTok, especially TikTok, they can learn from other children in their age groups, but they can also be bullied, and that has an impact on their mental health as well.
It's just a simple question. Why is it important to know what age or birth date you've used to create a profile?
Because sometimes parents don't think about creating a profile for their child, and they'll use a birth date, that puts a child into a different age group. And the content that's shown to that particular age group, you never know what you can see. And even though TikTok does have moderation, there is stuff that comes through, and you really don't want your children seeing immoral content.
Now, based on the information that you've had, I'm sure you keep an eye on the numbers. With a large number of people who use social media and involving their kids as well, are we aware enough of what we should be doing to tighten up our private security on these platforms?
No, I don't think we are aware enough. And I also think that people have got this fatigue around the world around cybersecurity in general, talking about privacy again. Oh, they're talking about passwords again. But some of the cases that we get in are frightening. It actually makes you want to close off the entire world.
Give us an example.
The last case was a mother of 2 young boys, and her profile was breached, and they managed to get access to her mobile where she had some intimate photos, and this person took those photos and shared them with her sons.
Wow. And would that be quite easy to do? What could she have done to prevent something like that from happening?
So she was talking to a stranger and they were speaking about a random topic. And he said to her, look, let me send you some more information. When the link comes through, just click on it and you can read up, you can read more. The thing is when you're on social media and a stranger that appears over friendly or asking questions and sends links, you never click on the links.
Yeah.
You never click on links. And it's quite easy to take over another device. And she lost all her content. This person took over her entire mobile device. And she was, what could she do? Her sons received these intimate images. When she phoned me, and I could hardly hear her because she was crying so much. It had such an impact on her, and what they'd taken from her, what they'd accessed. Yes, it was quite a emotional case.
Yeah. And then when faced with a phone call like that, with a potential client like that, what are you able to do in that moment?
The first thing I do personally is I speak to her. I first let her talk. I let her talk. I let her cry, even if we sit on the phone for 2-3 hours, because she goes through these different stages of anger, of grief, of embarrassment, of what am I going to do? I can't face the world. And I allow her to go through those emotions. And then we start looking at what information she has, what platform the platform that she was on, what she shared, what sort of information the person says he has. And then we start going through devices and we try and collect as much information like that, because when we hand it over to SAPS, we need to make sure that all the information that we've collected, we've done it correctly, and that SAPS can do something about it, take it to the next level.
And what is that relationship like with SAPS at this moment? Have they, in your opinion, put enough resources behind this latest need in law enforcement? Have you seen quite a bit of justice prevailing with incidents or cases like those that you've just mentioned?
Unfortunately not. I think that SAPS, we need to escalate the level of training that SAPS officers are receiving to bring them into a digital world, to make sure that they are equipped and have the tools to handle cases like these. Because with a lot of these cases, third-party organizations like mine, we get called in to do these investigations because SAPS officials are just, not all of them, but some of the local stations are not equipped at all.
Yeah. And I mean, at the fast pace that this digital world moves in, keeping up to breast and keeping the training up to speed needs to take some very real commitment. Just before I let you go, Sharon, would you be able just to give us some advice? We might have family sitting watching right now. Like me, I'm thinking, well, that's it. I'm putting all my social media platforms on private, or I'm just disconnecting all of it because anything really can happen. Is the problem that so much of our lives now is on our mobile phone, whether it's our private or intimate information, our financial details, everything is on our phone. Is that part of the bigger problem here as well?
I think, welcome to the digital world. I mean, everything you do, you read online, you shop online, you do everything online. I think the first thing that I would say to you, check your passwords. Even if you use a physical notebook to write down your passwords or password manager, but use long passwords, use phrases like, flowers are beautiful, so that it's long enough, it's not
and random
personal,
enough.
and yes, and it's random enough. And before you go onto any platform, look at the settings, take the time to go through those security settings, where possible, turn your location off, and look what else that the platform offers in terms of their security offerings. Make sure that your children or your teenagers, that they understand it as well. and keep safe out there.
Yeah, because the threats in South Africa are twofold. There is the cybercrime that can take place, or all digital, and you never actually see the so-called bad guy or bad person. And then there's things like don't put the location of your kid's school. When you post a photo of your kid at their first day at school, don't put the location of that or the location of where you shop every day and that kind of thing, because that could lead to physical crime, especially if you keep an eye on what our crime statistics are like here in South Africa.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's escalating.
Yeah.
You know, an innocent picture of a child in a school uniform, for an investigator like myself to take that image and go and find out where the location is, what the school is, and a whole lot of information around that is quite easy. Now, for the bad guy who have more sophisticated tools than what we do, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3 for them as well. So you have to think about the things that you post. It's not like, you know, how many years ago where you took a picture and it was an innocent picture that you put online to share the delight in your life and what you've done and that type of thing. These days you have to be more careful. You have to ensure that you are safe from prying eyes, and those prying eyes are online now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that conversation. Very sobering stuff. Cybercrime investigator Sharon Knowles joining us virtually there from Cape Town.